Andrew Sullivan. Andrew Michael Sullivan is a British-born American author, editor, and blogger. Sullivan is a conservative political commentator, a former editor of The New Republic, and the author, or editor of, 6 books. He was a pioneer of the political blog, starting in 2000. He is the editor of AndreSullivan.com, an online source of commentary on current issues, a Time magazine essayist, and a columnist for the Sunday Times of London. He also lectures widely, and appears frequently on both radio and television programs. The following article appeared on Times Online on February 20, 2005.
Introduction. The present generation is addicted to smartphones. Some mobile phone users exhibit problematic behaviors, similar to substance use disorder. Andrew Sullivan goes back to the older generation of iPod users. They too, like the present generation, was oblivious of what is happening around them, being immersed in their own small world. Do you think you may be missing something when you are not able to break out of the cocoons of smartphones and social media? If so, what is it that you miss?
Is society dead? We have retreated into the I-world. Andrew Sullivan. I was visiting New York last week, and noticed something I'd never thought I'd say about the city. Yes, nightlife is pretty much dead, and I'm in no way the first to notice that. But day life, that insane mishmash of yells, chatter, clatter, hustle, and chutzpah, that makes New York the urban equivalent of methamphetamine, was also a little different. It was quieter. Manhattan's downtown is now a Disney-like string of malls, riverside parks, and pretty upper-middle-class villages. But there was something else. And as I looked across the throngs on the pavements, I began to see why. There were little white wires hanging down from their ears, or tucked into pockets, purses, or jackets. The eyes were a little vacant. Each was, in his or her musical world, walking to their soundtrack, stars in their own music video, almost oblivious to the world around them. These are the iPod people. Even without the white wires, you can tell who they are. They walk down the street, in their own MP3 cocoon, bumping into others, deaf to small social cues, shutting out anyone not in their bubble. Every now and again, some start unconsciously emitting strange, tuneless squawks, like a badly tuned radio, and their fingers snap, or their arms twitch to some strange, soundless rhythm. When others say, "Excuse me," there's no response. "Hi, ditto." It's strange to be among so many people, and hear so little, except that each one is hearing so much. Yes, I might as well own up. I'm one of them. I witnessed the glazed New York looks through my own glazed pupils, my white wires peeping out of my ears. I joined the cult a few years ago, the sect of the little white box worshippers. Every now and again, I go to church. Those huge, luminous Apple stores, pews in the rear, the clerics, in their monastic uniforms, all bustling around, or sitting behind the genius bars, like priests waiting to hear confessions. Others began, as I did, with a Walkman, and then a kind of clunkier MP3 player. But the sleekness of the iPod won me over. Unlike other models, it gave me my entire music collection to rearrange, as I saw fit, on the fly, in my pocket. What was once an occasional musical diversion became a compulsive obsession. Now I have my iTunes in my iMac, for my iPod in my iWorld. It's Narcissus heaven. We've finally put the I into me. And like all addictive cults, it's spreading. There are now 22 million iPod owners in the United States, and Apple is becoming a mass-market company for the first time. Walk through any airport in the United States these days, and you will see person after person gliding through the social ether, as if on autopilot. Get on a subway, and you are surrounded by a bunch of Stefford commuters, staring into mid-space, as if anesthetized by technology. Don't ask, don't tell, don't overhear, don't observe, just tune in and tune out. It wouldn't be so worrying if it weren't part of something even bigger. Americans are beginning to narrow their lives. You get your news from your favorite blogs, the ones that won't challenge your view of the world. You tune into a satellite radio service that also aims directly at a small market for New Age fanatics, liberal talk, or Christian rock. Television is all cable. Culture is all subculture. Your cell phones can receive email feeds of your favorite blogger's latest thoughts seconds after he has posted them. To get sports scores for your team, or stock quotes of your portfolio. Technology has given us a universe entirely for ourselves, where the serendipity of meeting a new stranger, hearing a piece of music we would never choose for ourselves, or an opinion that might force us to change our mind about something, are all effectively banished. Atomization by little white boxes and cell phones. Society without the social others who are chosen, not met at random. Human beings have never lived like this before. Yes, we have always had homes, retreats or places where we went to relax, unwind, or shut out the world. But we didn't walk around the world like hermit crabs, with our isolation surgically attached. Music was once the preserve of the living room, or the concert hall. It was sometimes solitary, but it was primarily a shared experience, something that brought people together, gave them the comfort of knowing that others too understand the pleasure of a Brahms symphony, or that Beatles album. But music is as atomized now as living is, and it's secret. That bloke next to you on the bus could be listening to heavy metal, or a Gregorian chant. You'll never know, and so, bit by bit, you'll never really know him, and by his white wires, he is indicating he doesn't really want to know you. What do we get from this? The awareness of more music, more often, the chance to slip away for a while from everydayness, to give our lives its own soundtrack, to still the monotony of the commute, to listen more closely and carefully to music that can lift you up and keep you going. We become masters of our own interests, more connected to people like us over the internet, more instantly in touch with anything we want, need or think we want, and think we need. Ever tried a Stairmaster in silence? But what are we missing? That hilarious shard of an overhead conversation that stays with you all day. The child whose chatter on the pavement takes you back to your early memories. Birdsong, weather, accents, the laughter of others, and those thoughts that come not by filling your head with selected diversion, but by allowing your mind to wander aimlessly through the regular, background noise of human and mechanical life. External stimulation can crowd out the interior mind. Even the boredom that we flee has its uses. We are forced to find our own means to overcome it, and so we enrich our life from within, rather than from white wires. It's hard to give up though, isn't it? Not so long ago, I was on a trip, and realized I had left my iPod behind. Panic. But then something else. I noticed the rhythms of others again, the sound of the airplane, the opinions of the taxi driver, the small social cues that had been obscured before. I noticed how others related to each other, and I felt just a little bit connected again, and a little more aware. Try it. There is a world out there, and it has a soundtrack all its own.
Analysis. This article, Is Society Dead? We Have Retreated into the I-World, was written by Andrew Sullivan in 2005, when iPods and MP3 players were widely used by the young generation. Andrew Sullivan presents his feeling and thinking about the use of iPods in New York. The writer starts the essay by stating that the nightlife in New York is very much dull and boring, nothing exciting about the night. However, the day life, which was once full of yells, hustle, and chatter that transformed New York, into the one of the most happening cities of the world. This too has changed. The city has gone quiet. When the writer arrived in New York, he was quite astonished to witness little wires hanging from the ears of every individual walking through the road, or traveling through the subway. These little wires were mostly tucked into pockets of the pants or jackets. Every individual, moving on the road, was enjoying her own musical world, and it seems that music is now the integral part of their life. Besides pointing out the other people's obsession for music, the author also admits his own passion for music. According to the author, what was once an occasional musical diversion became a compulsive obsession. The life of the people of New York now revolves around the technology. The impact of technology converted the people into isolation. The people don't ask, don't tell, don't overhear, don't observe, just tune in and tune out. Times have changed. iPod have been replaced by smartphones. Technology has improved at a faster rate. The present generation has gone from the world of music to the world of social networking sites. Today, we can't shy away from smartphones and social media. It has become a part of our lives. Misuses of smartphones and social media is very minimal as compared to their positive uses. The world has shrunk into our palms. The present generation is often blamed for being addicted to smartphones, as the older generation was addicted to iPods. Smartphones has its advantages. Communication and ease of internet use have increased and has become much easy. Social networking sites like Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter etc. has brought about another revolution in the society. Our contacts with friends and relatives has increased. Downloading and sharing information have become easier. Though addiction is a problem, technology has more benefits than its negative impacts.